Yo, my name is Umbra, and here is a little recap as to what's happened during the Kingdom arc. Now, I'm doing this because lots of people are confused, and everybody who has not been paying attention to lore, even for the slightest moment, will miss some very important parts. So, I'm just here to outline everything and really tell you what's truly important and skip out on the things that are very much less important. So, let's get started. We have to start off with a little bit of backstory because some of this shit does not make sense if you don't know shit. So, essentially, Kador and Sloyd built places near each other in the beginning. However, Sloyd started expanding his kingdom with Z, somebody else who joined the server, and Umbra, another person who joined the server. It's me, guys. Come on, let's be for real. I'm not gonna act like they're not me. But yeah, so they started expanding the kingdom, and eventually they expanded over Kador's house. Now this pissed Kador off, so he, decided to fucking call them dictators, and eventually. I don't know if this is in direct correlation in lore or not, or if he just happened to do this. Dug up fake morality from hell. Unfortunately, because fake morality is a demon in PvP, he had to have a chip put in his head to stop him from murdering everybody. However, when Kador was giving fake morality the tour around the server, he kind of talked shit about the king. What do you expect? Of course he did. So he started talking shit about the king and called him a dictator, oppressor, yada yada, all that shit. And fake ended up spouting the same bullshit, but he actually had the balls to vandalize a statue in the kingdom, which of course got the king pissy because Umbra was there and she went and reported it. Now, due to the king being really pissed, he kind of had a meeting with Z and Umbra, and they made plans to, deal with Fake. But eventually, due to, realizing that it was really kind of Kador's fault for, labeling Soyd as a dictator, things kind of changed, and eventually the side of the kingdom, which was at the time just Soyd, Umbra, and Z, and the side of the not the kingdom, which was mainly just Kador and Fake and kind of Doctor Evil Sam. I don't really even know he's not that plot relevant, but yeah, they kind of just had a whole fighting moment there, and they kind of did small actions to each other, but nothing too big. But eventually, things started to get to a point, and Umber ran off. Ended up getting Mellowhigh, Bones, and Dylan to agree to help with their little war effort that was going on because shit was getting to that point. There was possibility of war, anger started rising, and they needed to prepare. However, as tension rose, the goat Blight stepped in, talked to Kador, and got him to apologize. However, this apologizing was not enough. Kador was still pissed, and he burnt down his house. And the king ended up bringing the war back on because he took it as a declaration of war. Because of course he did. I mean, now, of course, like any normal person, when you hear that a king is pissed off at you and wants to kill you, you decide to go into hiding. So he went and hid in Mellowhigh's place, not knowing that Mellowhigh was really fully working for the kingdom. Which, and he would eventually tell Adri, Blight, Fake, and Z of his location. Kador, Z, Adri, and Mellowhigh had a whole meeting about disliking the war, which Bones interpreted as trying to kill the fucking king. So Bones went and snitched. Bones told Umbra and Soyd about this, which Umbra got pissed and confronted Z, which Z, of course, cleared everything up. So Umbra and Z agreeing on not liking the war came to Soyd and was like, "Hey, let's stop this freaking war." And Soyd was like, "Hell no, we're not stopping this war. Do you see what he disrespected me with?" And just decided to continue going on with it. Along with that, because of the accusations and all the other things that have been said, Z was stripped of her noble status. So no more Z noble. Whoop whoop. Yeah, and then after that, there was a lot of other shit that happened, but Loki, none of that shit was important to the plot. It just kind of showed characterization. And also, I have a bad memory, so I don't remember half of it because I didn't care like that. Super cool though. Oh yeah, and Umbra built a prison. Sure, that's not important or anything. Anyways, eventually Umbra, Fake, and Lizzie, another player on the server who had just recently joined, had a whole conversation about morality, which later resulted in Fake killing Umbra as Lizzie watched. This death, of course, rung throughout the server as many friends were upset. However, it really affected Soid and Melhai as they started getting pissy at each other and angry because Soid claimed that it was Mellohai's duty as a father to protect Umbra, and Mellohai claimed the same thing, but it was Soid's duty as a king to protect his citizens. Of course, that shit didn't end up well. Oh yeah, I guess there was also this guy named Im who came up after Umbra's death and like helped people more and watched and was creepy and shit. But that doesn't matter really, because Melohai was now hiring Moonblade to kill Soid. Moonblade is a hit woman for hire. I don't know if Hitman is gender neutral or not. Either way, hit woman for hire. We're just gonna say that. And yeah, he kind of hired her to kill Soid, but eventually he said, take two backsies and decided to call off the hit. However, some mysterious person decided to end up hiring Moonblade to do it anyways. With the help of some moles, Soid eventually learned the location of Kador. However, Kador ended up just moving out. He just pieced out. He didn't like the people around there, and he said that it was like, unsafe. So he moved out of Melahai's and eventually went to go live with Fake. Actually, where the fuck does Fake live? Somehow I'm not surprised. Oh yeah, I guess also Umbra before she died got in a polycule.